Alright, then what's up, everybody? My name's Jose Chamu, better known by my stage name Chips, and I'm a rapper from Long Beach, California. And today, we're gonna be reacting to Iron Maiden's ninth album, Fear of the Dark. I was told that this album is the last Bruce Dickinson album before his return. So, and then he's replaced, I believe, by Blaze or something like that. And we still don't have Adrian Smith, I believe. I believe he returns with Bruce. So we're still with Yannick Gers. I was told that's how it's pronounced. Yannick, not Janik. So, like, I know I apologize for mispronouncing his name the whole video for No Prayer for the Dying. I apologize. So his name is Yannick Gers. So we'll just have Dave Murray and Yannick Gers until A Brave New World or something like that. I think that's what the album's called. But with that being said, before we get into the album, of course, I want to talk about the previous album that we just listened to, which was No Prayer for the Dying. On upon further reflection, I think the album's gonna have to go from like a 6 or a 7 potentially to like a 5 out of 10. It's just average. And the reason I say that is because I didn't find myself listening to a lot of the tracks after I listened to it, right? And this is the first ever time this has happened to me. Even with the albums that I didn't quite necessarily believe they were like the best Maiden, I was still finding enjoyment and going back to them a lot. Like, for example, I'm of the people that kind of puts Peace of Mind and Number of the Beast sort of in the bottom. And the reason I do that, bottom of the first 7 albums, because just keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's the worst album, but the reason I say that is because I don't particularly go back to certain tracks for Number of the Beast, right? Like Number of the Beast, for me, it's very, very, very dependent on the songs I love, which would be Children of the Damned, 22 Acacia Avenue, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. But then that leaves other tracks that they're phenomenal, but I don't listen to them as much. Stuff like Invader, stuff like Run to the Hills. The only reason I like really know Run to the Hills is because it's popped up in their lives. I think in both lives that I've listened to, the Run for Your Life. But anyway, and this isn't to shit on those albums. They're fucking phenomenal. Go look at my reaction. I like everything. It's just, my point is that even with those that I felt have tracks that I didn't really go back to, I would still heavily play the tracks that I loved. And on No Prayer for the Dying, I didn't really do that. Even with the tracks that I quote unquote loved or that I thought were like the best ones, it's the only real track that I really went back to listen to frequently was Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Bring your daughter to the slaughter. But then, like, when I said my top 3 songs, I think it was the title track, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, and some other one I forgot. But I don't know, I just feel like No Prayer for the Dying is like a bit more forgettable than the previous 7 albums. Like, I could definitely see how you guys said, yo, that's the end of the like classic run. Like, now it's like none of the albums are necessarily bad, they're just not that pinnacle no more. And you know, I'm trying not to let you guys sway my opinion, but honestly, it didn't sway my opinion, like, because I could see it, especially with Tail Gunner. Tail Gunner is definitely the worst intro so far. From the 8 intros, is definitely no Aces High, is no fucking Where Eagles Dare. Like, it's and then, as I said, my biggest issue was the whole edgy nature of the album. Like, I don't have an issue with swearing. Again, as I've said in the reaction, I fucking swear a shit ton. I swear a shit ton in these videos and even more in my own music. Like, if you listen to any of my songs, you'll fucking see what I'm talking about. But it just felt, I don't know, it just feels weird to hear Maiden with like swears, and it's not even like fucking big ass swears. It's not like they're saying like motherfucker, like, you know, big words. They're just like shit, and I think that's shit, damn. I think those were like the only swears that I heard. But even then, it was a little jarring. And then Bruce's delivery in certain songs and certain parts of songs, it just sounded bad. As I said in the reaction, the one that sticks out the most is when he sounds like he's taking a shit. I think in the title track where it's like, oh my god, that one stood out. And like, I don't know, just what stuff Bruce was doing, he just didn't sound as energetic. But then it was like fucked up, because there was moments where like the dope Bruce came out, like in certain sections of Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter and stuff like that. You could hear the passion, you could hear Bruce kind of leave that like thing he was doing. And it would have just been better off if he would have just used the Seventh Son Power Slave, you know, mystical voice, as opposed to like this edgy, raspy thing. Like, honestly, if we're talking about vocals, this album, well, No Prayer for the Dying, not this one, No Prayer for the Dying sounds like it probably would have been better with Paul Di'Anno's vocals, because Paul Di'Anno, he has that natural rasp that Bruce just doesn't have. Bruce has a very clean voice, honestly. Like I've said many times, he almost sounds like an opera singer. So he has a very, very clean voice, even when he's being like a siren machine, and like when he's yelling off, and like even in stuff like in Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, where he's doing the like it's still clean. It's a very clean rasp. Whereas in No Prayer for the Dying, he was trying so hard to sound like dirty rasp, and the person who perfected dirty rasp from the people I've heard is Paul Di'Anno. He just had that naturally. Listen to like stuff like Wrathchild Killers, like he has that natural perfect edginess that Bruce just doesn't have. Even when Bruce tries to do it, it's just not the same. So I guess that's another argument for Paul Di'Anno versus Bruce, if you want to like go back to that conversation. But I'm not saying Bruce is better, Paul's better, someone's worse. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying that I could see Paul Di'Anno doing these songs better than Bruce could. But at the same time, there's stuff that Paul Di'Anno couldn't do in these songs. Like, I don't think I could see Paul Di'Anno doing Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, honestly. But I could see him doing the more raspy parts of like Fear of the Dark. I mean, No Prayer for the Dying and stuff like that. But let me talk about Yannick Gers, because he's the most, besides Bruce's like vocal things, I think Yannick Gers is the most like prominent new thing to talk about. As I said in the reaction, I feel like Yannick has a more aggressive and like high pitched way of playing the guitar. And I probably sound fucking stupid to y'all, because I don't really like know how to word it, because again, I don't really know this genre, like heavy metal, rock, all this type of shit. I don't really know it like that, so I can't tell you the nuances. Like, I could tell you exactly about a rapper's flow and what he's doing and like the timing, but I can't really explain to you succinctly why I'm saying what I'm saying about Yannick. But I just feel, like I said in the reaction, I just feel like Yannick, his notes, they just go like boom, like they have more like dynamic range, if that makes sense. Because, and he tends to like do like a lot of like like just, I feel like that's the thing with Yannick Gers, his playing style, if that makes sense. And also, it was pretty nice to see that he had a good amount of solos, whether that be because that's just how he plays and like how the music comes about, or it could be that it was almost like a Where Eagles Dare situation, where Eagles Dare had a lot of prominent drums because it was introducing Nickel McBrain. It could have been that the whole album was like, hey, we need a lot of Yannick Gers solos because he's gonna be littered throughout our future albums, so here's your primer on him, if that makes any sense. He was definitely a highlight. He was fucking amazing. I forgot which song it was. where he's going back and forth with Dave Murray with the solos. They're each having like 15-second solos. Oh my goodness, that part was immaculate, gorgeous. Lyrically, that album was fucking phenomenal. Like, absolutely floored me. Probably their best lyrical performance, or whatever, their best lyrics in all their 8 album run so far. Like, those, the way it connected with the album title, the way they connected with other songs, and the connection wasn't even like a conceptual type situation with like Seventh Son of a Seventh Son and Killers, right? Lyrically, they're very cohesive, because Killers and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son are both conceptual albums where there's a narrative or something being laid, whereas No Prayer for the Dying, there's no story, there's no narrative, but everything connects to No Prayer for the Dying. As I mean, go to the reaction. You know, a lot of this discussion really is kind of pointless, because of all my reactions, I feel like the actual video summarizes what I've been saying throughout this whole intro pretty good. I haven't really changed my opinions. The only thing is, my top 3 songs. Number 1 is Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Number 2 is Running Silent, Running Deep. Oh my goodness, that song. I love Bruce's vocal performance in that song. The running silent, running deep, final or something like that. Ooh, I was like, this the Bruce, this the GOAT. And then my third favorite would be the title track, which is No Prayer for the Dying, which, again, as I said in the reaction, it's funny that I like that song, considering I think it's cut from the cloth that Peace of Mind is cut from. It has that Revelation, Still Life, Strange World kind of sound, and as you guys know, that's one of my least favorite albums. Or, I mean, maybe my opinions have changed, but we'll talk about that when the journey's done. But I think Peace of Mind is way higher now, but that's a different conversation. But point is, stuff like Tail Gunner could have just been left off the album, honestly. Like, it did nothing for me, honestly. Mother Russia was cool. A lot, really, that's the whole thing I can say about the album. It was cool. It was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't phenomenal. It wasn't terrible. Sure, I had bad moments, specifically when he sounds like he's taking a shit. But on the whole, it was just good. Like, if this would have been the first ever Iron Maiden album I heard, I don't think I would have been compelled to go on this Iron Maiden journey. You know what I'm saying? Even if I heard any random song off that album, I don't think it would have compelled me to go on this journey, right? Whereas, like, The Trooper, whether you think it's overplayed or not, or it's their most popular song, it's booty, it doesn't capture the Maiden sound, it's still, like, has that it factor. It's just special. And so I could see myself genuinely, like, of the previous 7 albums, it didn't have to be The Trooper to be the song to make me a fan of Iron Maiden. I could have seen myself listening to, you know, Transylvania, and then being like, you know what, this band is cool, I want to listen to them now, you know. So whereas this one, sadly, I don't think there's any song that would have made me say, you know what, I want to start a YouTube channel and I want to listen to these dudes. Like, but the other 7 albums, I could choose at least one song. Stranger in a Strange Land. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Aces High. Hallowed Be Thy Name. 22. Like, every single album up until this point, I could at least choose one song and be like, you know what, that probably could have been the song to turn me out and make me a Maiden fan. Whereas this one, there's just none. Even Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. I think if it would have been the first ever Maiden song I ever heard, I would have listened to it and be like, that's cool, but I'm gonna just stick to hip hop, because this whole thing, I'm not really getting jiggy with it. But now, as a fan of, well, I can't say it, but like as a heavy metal fan, I can't really say it because I only know Iron Maiden. And now that I have more skin in the game, and I'm already 7 albums in, well, a couple more if you count the lives. But now that I've had some experience with heavy metal, this album just doesn't seem as good, if that makes any sense. It's just not as impressive. And really, that's all I can say about the album. It's just not special. It's cool. And cool doesn't mean bad. Some of you guys might misinterpret this and be like, oh, he didn't like the album. He thought it was trash. This, that, and the third. You don't understand because any true artist would appreciate it. Like, those type of comments, like, suck my dick, nigga. You sound stupid as fuck. Like, the album's fine. There's nothing wrong with being okay. There's nothing wrong with saying the album's average, good, sometimes even bad. Just because they're legends in heavy metal and they have 7 classics doesn't mean they're above criticism. And with that being said, the album No Prayer for the Dying, I'm gonna just have to give it a 5 out of 10 and just say that it's serviceable. It's nothing mind-blowing, it's nothing crazy, but it's just not. Where do you go after Seventh Son of a Seventh Son? Obviously they went this direction, and it wasn't the right direction. I don't believe so. Like, because as I said too in the reaction, this album was just so, it felt so short. And I don't know why. I like short albums, but this felt too short. And it wasn't even short. It was longer than their debut, but it felt short, which is a weird issue. Actually, this album made me change my 4 C's criteria, which I'm gonna get into at the end of this reaction. You're gonna see the updated 4 C's criteria. So, congratulations, No Prayer for the Dying. You made me change my scoring criteria for albums. How do you do that? It's freaking insane. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it was cool. With that being said, we're heading into the final Bruce Dickinson album, Fear of the Dark. I believe it's 12 tracks. I believe their longest album track-wise, because I think up until that point, No Prayer for the Dying was the longest with 10 tracks, I believe. So the albums are getting longer, but the runtime is more or less remaining the same, / even being a little a little bit below previous run times, right? Like Seventh Son of a Seventh Son was also of a shorter run time than like Somewhere in Time. So it's gonna be I'm kind of a little worried about that. Like, how are you getting shorter total run times with more tracks? That leads me to think that some of these songs are gonna be a little sparse and cut short, but that's fine. I can't criticize it without having listened to it. With that being said, I want to thank each and every one of y'all. You guys are the best. We have 173 subs as of the making of this video, and sorry that most of y'all couldn't watch the Live After Death reaction because YouTube's a bitch with copyright. What can I tell you? But thank you. I genuinely appreciate the support. You guys, again, I keep saying it, but you guys make the journey smooth. I kind of would have been lost in the sauce if I was just alone, but because you guys explain things and then tell me and then like introduce new perspectives and give me your guys' life story, I could connect with it more. I could understand the music more. Like, one of the most greatest comments I ever received was a very detailed comment where they pointed out where the synths were in Somewhere in Time, and I hear them now. Not just in Somewhere in Time, I hear the synths in Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, and I hear them all throughout Somewhere in Time. And now Somewhere in Time, to me, at first when I heard the album, it just sounded like standard Maiden. Like, I'm like, I don't know why people keep saying that it sounds very different. Some people don't like the synths. I'm like, it just sounds like Maiden to me. It just sounds like rock. It just sounds like guitars. But no, it sounds wildly different. Killers sounds nothing like Somewhere in Time. Somewhere in Time is like its own thing because all the synths, like, and the synths give it this nice, airy, echoey, just feeling of etherealness. Just this whole Like the whole organy sound is just gorgeous. And so I appreciate you guys for that. If it wasn't for you guys, again, a lot of this stuff I wouldn't get it if someone didn't say, oh, Clive Burr versus Nickel McBrain. Clive has a more hip-hop, groovy, funky, jazzy style, and then Nickel McBrain has a more standard heavy metal drumming. And I didn't get it until I watched slash listened to Beast Over Hammersmith and then Live After Death. When I heard Beast Over Hammersmith, you know, it just sounded standard. But as I heard Live After Death, specifically with like Hollow Be Thy Name and things like that, the drums just weren't, they were lacking a rhythm. And I don't know the words for the rhythm, but I thought back to that comment that said, oh, Clive has a more jazzy, groovy style of drumming. And I don't know why that is, but I could agree with it. Like, I'm like, yeah, Clive has this, like, I can't explain it. He just has this it factor. I don't know what words to use. He just, the songs that he did live or that he recorded in general versus Nickel's, when Nickel does his songs, it's just like night and day difference. So if you made it this far to the intro, because it's already been 20 minutes of me yapping, you heard it now. I'm on Clive Burr's side. When it comes to Clive Burr versus Nickel McBrain, I'm going with Clive Burr. Like, his shit is just, it just has that it factor. I don't know what word to use. He just sounds better in my opinion. And to me, it's much, much more drastic that Clive Burr is much more better than Nickel McBrain than Bruce being better than Paul. At least with Bruce versus Paul, as I said in the beginning of this intro, like, I could see where Paul's better. And, you know, truthfully, I enjoy Paul's songs probably more than Bruce's versions of his songs. And so I don't really see when people say, oh, Paul holds Bruce's bags and all that type of stuff. Like, I don't see it, because to me they're equal in different ways. Like, they're both on the same field, but on left and right, you know, sections. Whereas Clive versus Nickel, if someone were to comment like, oh, Nickel doesn't hold a candle to Clive, I'm like, yeah, I could see it, because I don't know why. I don't know why. I just like Clive Burr a lot more. Just specifically in the live performances, Beast Over Hammersmith versus Live After Death, that's what I could really, really point out why I like Clive so much more. And I don't know why. But I don't even know how we got to this conversation. But again, thank you guys. I love each and every one of you guys. I'm so excited to listen to. I know some people have been saying like, oh, you just got to get past these 4 albums. Just don't worry, like, they're not as good, but just get through them. But I'm excited to listen to what's considered their lows. Like, it's interesting to see the downfall. Not downfall necessarily, because I know some of y'all niggas gonna misinterpret this. But I'm just excited in general just to hear it. So with that being said, let's head right into the reaction. We're here at Fear of the Dark 2015 remaster. Just let me see the cover art and read about it real quick. Released in 1992. So we're reaching my birth year, 1999. This is still before I was even born. 58 minutes at 12 songs. So ignore what I said about the album getting shorter. I fucked up. So this might be their longest album. No, maybe. Fear of the Dark is the 9th studio album by English heavy metal band Iron Maiden, released in 1992. Their 3rd studio release in the UK album charts. Is the last to feature Bruce as the group's lead vocalist until his return in 1999. So he comes back 7 years later. It was the first album to be produced by Steve Harris, and the last album to feature the work of Martin Birch, who retired after it's released. Okay, let's look at the album cover real quick. Let's zoom in on this thing. So the album cover looks cool. Is Eddie tied to the tree, or is he mixed with the tree? I believe he's mixed with the tree, huh? Because like his head is like little branches. Like, yeah, you see right here, it's like he's coming out of the tree. It's almost like his like shoulders and stuff like that, and like his ribs. The album cover looks cool. It looks very OG Maiden. We're talking, you know, first 2 albums type shit. Even the title, Fear of the Dark. Fear of the Dark sounds more like Killers than it does like fucking Power Slave. You know what I mean? Really, I think there was a big shift in titles once we left Number of the Beast. This is, to me, this is back to like that Number of the Beast feeling, right? Because like Somewhere in Time, Power Slave, Peace of Mind, they just sound different than Fear of the Dark, Killers, Iron Maiden. You know, though they invoke darkness and just moodiness in general. You know what I mean? So with that being said, let's just hop right into track 1, Be Quick or Be Dead. Oh wait, no, I apologize. Let's look at the 12 tracks, and let's see, since it's 12, I'm gonna choose 3 tracks that I'm excited for based off their titles. So I want to choose Fear of the Dark, but it's the last track, and I'm always excited for the last track, so I feel like that's a given. Judas Be My Guide is one of the ones I'm excited for. That just sounds cool. Like, again, I'm non-Christian, I'm really not religious, but I still like, the themes are cool. So Judas Be My Guide will be one of them that I'm excited for. Afraid to Shoot Strangers sounds cool, so that's gonna be another one I'm gonna look out for. And it's either between The Fugitive or Chains of Misery. The Fugitive kind of reminds me of The Assassin, and then Chains of Misery just fucking sounds epic. So the 3 that I'm gonna look out for are Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Chains of Misery, and Judas Be My Guy, with Fear of the Dark and Be Quick or Be Dead being givens because they're the intro and outro, and I always put emphasis on how do you start and how do you end. So it's gonna be very interesting to hear how they start and how they end. With that being said, let's head straight into track 1. That shit was loud as hell.
Calvin and sinners and dripping with guilt, making your money from slime and from filth, hiding your bellies in ivory towers, investing our lives in your schemes and your powers. You've got to watch them be quick or be dead. God's in heaven, the thief's in your head. You've got to watch them be quick or be dead. Snake eyes in heaven, the thief's in your head. Be quick or be dead. Be quick, quick is see what's ruling all our lives. See who holds the strings. I'll bet you
That's an interesting line. Like, see, this just sounds like Yannick, or I don't know if it's like, it just sounds like his type of sound.
The serpent is crawling inside. While you're so stupid, rob yourself blind. You've got to watch them be quick or be dead. Snake eyes in heaven, the thief in your head. You've got to watch them be quick or be dead. Snake eyes or be dead, dead, dead. You've got to watch them be quick or
That
be
was tight.
dead. Snake eyes in heaven,
I think
the
Dave had
thief's
the better
in your
solo.
head. You've got to watch them be quick, quick or be dead. Be quick.
Oh, that was it? Okay. So that was Be Quick or Be Dead. Pretty quick song, honestly. What was it, like 3 minutes? Okay, so this one, I'm gonna be honest, this was probably the one I understood the least initially, like lyrically, like, all right, let me just talk about the sound because I didn't really pay attention too much to the lyrics. I mean, another just intro where we just get right into it with just a. This had a nice upbeat energy. It sounded like the dark. It sounded like, okay, we're this is an extension of No Prayer for the Dying, because Bruce, I mean, he kicks it off with that like harass thing that he's doing, that he started with No Prayer for the Dying, and this is better. The other one in No Prayer for the Dying, he sounded like forced or like winded. I don't know the word to use. It didn't sound natural. This sounds like he's been practicing that voice, and it's not as try-hardy as edgy. I don't know what word to use. So though he used that voice that I didn't like, I enjoyed it here because I think he finally, let's not say mastered, but he's definitely better now. He's more used to doing that voice now, those vocals. The solo was fucking great. Pretty short. Well, I can't say solo. I guess it would be solos, right? But the solos are pretty great. Again, I feel like Yannick Gur's Maiden has a very like more quicker sound. Like I feel like Yannick just plays faster, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it makes any sense to y'all. This was a good intro. Again, I'm not placing it on the other ones, but it could very much grow with time, because that's what I said about Caught Somewhere in Time, and now it might be my favorite intro, like Caught Somewhere in Time. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. So this could very much grow, because we could only go more in enjoyment, you know what I mean? The song's definitely not gonna get worse. So let's read the lyrics. I mean the about. The song is about greed and corruption of the democratic system. Okay, so I was thinking that. I was feeling like it was politically charged. The title was inspired by a passage in the Bible, Timothy. I wouldn't know, but I did feel like it was political because I mean, obviously, like it was very political, yet used the guise of religion as like the lyrical, like the vehicle, if that makes any sense, right? Because we sinners, ivory towers, snake eyes in heaven, dead, just in general, serpents. Like I know serpent obviously means like snakes and all that, but it also, the serpent, in the Bible and stuff like that. And then obviously like the serpent's crawling inside of your ear. He says you must vote for what you want to hear. We're obviously making connections with like Adam and Eve type situation, right? Let's click it. The entire verse refers to politicians speculating on people's needs. Okay, so I would have enjoyed if this person who annotated it would have mentioned Adam and Eve, because again, be quick or be dead. Again, if it's inspired by a passage in the Bible, we get references to heaven and stuff. I'm not saying it's a religious song, but what I'm saying is that it's using religion almost like a double metaphor situation, or like using it to like for similes and metaphors. So the serpent's crawling inside your ears, Lucifer speaking to Eve, telling them to bite the apple. But why do you want to bite the apple? And this is all going to connect with the second verse. Why did Eve, well, it wasn't even an apple, it was just described as a fruit, right? Why did Eve want to eat the fruit? Because it was forbidden? We don't necessarily know why, but we know she was tempted by the serpent and she ended up eating it, right? Which would be like the first sin or something like that, whatever, like disobeying God and whatever. And if we take that idea and apply it to politicians, okay, now you're getting fucking, what is it called? Like political commercials and news, and it's on your social media. You see ads. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Political ads. You see ads littered everywhere. The bus stop, the city, you're campaigning. you see politicians more active on social media, so now you have the serpents inside your ear non-stop, and they're telling you you must vote, which is them telling you bite the fruit. And truthfully, you don't know why you're voting, right? For what you want to hear. Don't matter what's wrong as long as you're right. Pull yourself stupid, rob yourself blind, right? So they're trying to convince you to vote, but chances are you've never voted, and if you did, you're not well educated. You know, you're just going by what the campaigns are telling you. You know, same thing with the fruit and all that, with that metaphor, right? Like, Eve didn't know why she wanted the fruit. She just knew she wanted it. But why did she want it? Because she was told she wanted it. She was tempted to want it. Same thing. Oh, I'm just voting because this candidate is black. Oh, I'm voting because they're from where I'm from. And that's cool, like, you know, for little things, right? Like I said, plenty of times, I love and was excited for Live After Death because it takes place in Long Beach. It was filmed in Long Beach. And as you guys know, I mean, every fucking intro, I'm from Long Beach. I live in Long Beach. I was raised in Long Beach. So, of course, like, that little, you know, surface reason is going to make my enjoyment much more. But I'm not going to apply that to politics, whereas some people, they might do that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm above them or whatever in my political views. I'm not trying to make this political because I'm just not, that's not my forte. But at the same time, I did study political science a little bit and all that. Like, it's a mandatory course. So it's not like I'm like a retarded nigga, you know what I mean? Like, I would like to think I'm educated, you know what I mean? But with that being said, like, you know, it's true. Like, you might be tempted by the serpent / politician to vote, and you end up voting, but you don't quite know why you voted. You don't know what you voted for, and then when you got what you wanted or what you thought you wanted, you done fucked up. And I'm really not trying to say anything about Democrats, Republicans. I don't give a fuck. But I will say this. Joe Biden, you know, niggas thought they wanted Joe Biden because Trump was whack or whatever. Hillary was no good, whatever. Bernie Sanders, we needed him. But anyway, people, you know, they thought they wanted Joe Biden. And now even his supporters are like, yo, this nigga is old as a motherfucker. He shouldn't be in office. So I just think of that when I think of this verse, right? Like, you robbed yourself blind. Pull yourself stupid. Because you didn't really know what you wanted. What you thought you wanted was not what you wanted. If that makes any sense. So another song, kind of like No Prayer for the Dying, where the lyrics, honestly, now that I'm reflecting on it and really thinking about it, it's making this, I kind of want to listen to the song again because it was so short. I kind of want to listen to it again now that I know the context of the lyrics. Covered in sinners and dripping with guilt, making your money from slime and from filth. Similar situation to 2 Minutes to Midnight, right? Like, shoot me, oh, he ain't got no reason. The golden goose is on the loose. Well, anyway, but, you know, similar situation, like, you know, they're profiting. You niggas is losing. So that's why you've got to watch them. Be quick or be dead. Snake eyes in heaven, the thief's in your head. Would the snake eyes in heaven, before I want to click on the annotation, but I feel like, again, if we're going back to what I was saying about we're connecting Genesis with politicians and all that type of stuff, I feel like snake eyes in heaven has to be, you know, trouble in paradise situation, right? I mean, if the devil was in paradise, what does that say about what you think about your electoral system? You know what I mean? Yeah, we're run by certain people, certain politicians, lobbyists, groups, but are they really fit to are they qualified to run it? Seems like there would be snake eyes in heaven at that point, no? See what I'm saying? Let's click the annotation. Snake eyes for unwavering vigilance stemming from biological facts. Snake eyes lack eyelids and don't seem to... Oh! So this person's annotation is saying that Oh, okay, never mind. I'm dumb. So snake eyes in heavens means always be vigilant. Oh, that's why be quick or be dead. Because the thief's in your head, you gotta watch them. Oh, that's good. I like that. See, I like when the annotations come. I still like my interpretation, and I think it's very valid. So I think it could be like a double meaning, if that makes sense. I feel like it could be a double entendre. Well, it wouldn't be an entendre necessarily, but you get the point. See what's, this is where it's very obvious that it's politicians. See what's ruling our lives, who's pulling strings, what's ruling our lives, pulling strings. I bet you won't fall on your face, your belly will hold you in place. That line specifically, your belly will hold you in place. Interesting. What does it mean? Your belly is what you eat. What you eat is gluttony. Will your gluttony cause you, like, your greed? Or, like, will your greed cause you to, like, think about yourself only? It'll hold you in place. Holding you in place means you're not progressing or you're not going backwards. So what does it mean? Your belly will hold you in place. That's the one line I don't get. Of all of them, I mean, I could break down the whole thing, but that's the one line I don't get. Interesting. I think with more listens, because right here we get parading your bellies in ivory towers. Parade. Right, the people with big belly usually have the most money. Your belly will hold you in place. It could... Your belly will hold you in place. I just want to get through the reaction, because I'm not be here for a long ass time trying to dissect this. But I'm gonna get back to that line. Maybe I'll update you guys in the next week's reaction, like the update. Overall, this was a cool intro. Lyrically, again, I feel like we've just reached a new plateau in lyricism with No Prayer for the Dying in this album. Like, if this continues on with this type of lyricism, then it's gonna be fucking good. The sound was great too. It had that dark, nice, just quick, boom, boom. Here's 3 minutes. All right, let's keep going. The track 2, From Here to Eternity, which is another journey. Okay, so not religious, but like eternity, and then the first one was like had religious undertones, so we headed towards that.
She fell in love with this crazy machine. She leaned on the wipers, can't start clean. She'd never seen the beast before, but she lived that one in a mile. When she was walking on down the road, she heard the sound that made her heart explode. He whispered to her to get on the back. I'll take you on a ride from here to eternity. Hell ain't a bad place. Hell is from here to eternity.
Is this Charlotte the Harlot after she died in the previous album?
From here to eternity. She must be having one of them crazy dreams. She never sat on a piece so mean. It made her feel like she's on cloud 9. She even thought she'd heard the engine sigh. But like all dreams that come to an end, they took a tumble at the devil's band. The beast that shot them, they were two of a kind. They'd always take the line from here to eternity. Hell ain't a bad place. Hell is from here to eternity. Hell ain't a bad place.
That's that yeah. The solo is fire. Okay, so if this really is the Charlotte the Harlot song, then again, more credence that these two albums, No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark, they're really trying hard to capture that original essence, right, by having sequels to Charlotte the Harlot. I know the first sequel was in Number of the Beast, but again, Number of the Beast was where really I feel like they changed their sound like afterwards. So this is almost like a return to the first three albums, obviously because it's a sequel. But initially, you know, with the first line, I thought it would be about just, you know, bike riding and stuff, right? Like that she fell in love with the greasy machine, she leaned over, wiped his kickstart clean. You know, obviously we're thinking of like some hot model situation, you know, on some like Transformer shit type shit, Carl's Jr. commercials, you know, just what I'm talking about. I love this line. She'd never seen the beast before, but she left there wanting more. Like obviously the beast could be like the beast of a machine, like the beast of the bike, but it could also be the beast as in, you know, 666, the number of the beast. Is going down tonight. Anyway, I'll take you on a ride from here to eternity. So now we're flipping the concept of it's not just a bike. This is almost like a Ghost Rider situation. If you really think about it, this is a song about Ghost Rider. But yeah, I had a feeling this was Charlotte before they even said her name, because she usually the she's, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but there hasn't been a single she in Iron Maiden's discography so far that isn't Charlotte. I think like every time there's a she, it's been Charlotte. I think I could be wrong, obviously, like you guys know more than me, but I'm trying to think, and like more often than not, the she in their music, especially when she is the focal point of a song, it's usually Charlotte. And then this is a perfect continuation from, you know, Hooks in You, where he fucking killed Charlotte for being a hoe. Like, okay, now she's dead. She's never seen the beast before because she's never died, obviously. And so she's walking down the road, perhaps purgatory, perhaps on the path to heaven or hell, and then she's being taken on the ride from where she's at to eternity, and eternity being hell, or hell is from here to eternity. So maybe the ride is hell, like wherever here is at, headed to eternity, that is the hell. That could be purgatory if you think about it, right? Like hell is from here to eternity, eternity being your resting point, wherever you end up being, heaven, hell, whatever you believe in. That ride from here to there could be purgatory, if you know what I'm saying. Obviously we're also talking about bikes and all that. And then I love how we're connecting back to Number of the Beast ideas with this line, the she must be having one of her crazy dreams, but like all dreams, they come to an end. They took a tumble at the devil's band. Just, again, I love Iron Maiden, the way they connect to their previous works. Just genius, because in Number of the Beast, what is a central idea? That everything that happens in the Number of the Beast title track it's a dream. It's not necessarily sacrifices really going down. The children of the dam might not be real children. It could be all a dream, right? Well, not could, because I know for a fact Number of the Beast, the actual song, is a dream. They say it, you know, but it, you know, it's a dream. It's compelling me. It's calling me. Same thing. So now the male in that song was being compelled to the Number of the Beast, but now Charlotte is almost doing that song in her way, you know what I mean? Now she's having dreams, or what she believes is a dream, except the difference is the Number of the Beast one, it is a dream, or he's being haunted, almost like Seventh Son of a Seventh Son with the infinite dreams, right? Whereas Charlotte here, it's she feels like it's a dream, but it's not. She's dead, as we know from the previous Charlotte song, the Hooks in You. I don't like that. I'm gonna keep it real, dog. I don't like that song. I kind of forgot about it until right now. That's why I didn't mention it in the intro. The solo was great. It genuinely sounded mechanical. Like, it's fucking crazy. It sounded dope. I love the like little interlude. The like, gentlemen, start your engines. That was great. That was great. Get your M11. What is an M11? Oh, okay. Okay. So let's read the about. A hard-rocking yet clearly tongue-in-cheek tune that wouldn't feel strange in Motley Crue set list. From Here to Eternity was the second single. Putting Charlotte the Harlot in a motorcycle while embracing pseudo-satanic themes. Quote from Bruce Dickinson: "From Here to Eternity is just a good laugh, a joke." I don't know how he talks here. Oh yeah, I do and so we talk about a famous return Charlotte Harlot who's back on the back of a motorbike. It's not really important song set-wise anyway. Because I have heard him talk. Never mind. Yeah, he talks a couple times when he does his like little rants. So there you go. That's my shitty impression of Bruce. It's just a good laugh, a joke. So you guys are probably, this thing is fucking retarded. Okay, so he says himself that it's just a joke song about Charlotte the Harlot who's back on the back of a motorbike. There's nothing important in the song text-wise. So he himself is telling me basically, yo, stop analyzing this shit, cause nigga ain't none to it. But again, I think there is. It has to be, cause this isn't just Charlotte before, 22 Acacia Avenue. Cause this, if it's about Charlotte, which it is, then the way Bruce is wording it, it makes it sound like this is pre-Hooks in You. She's just in a bike. It's a sexy song about being on a motorbike. Like, haha. But everything I just said makes me believe that this is post Hooks in You, and that she's dead, and that all this sexy pseudo, the bike, and but the imagery I'm getting is really the fucking the what I said, the like Carl's Jr. hot girl on a car commercials, that type of like stuff. Probably like in fucking really booty jorts and fucking a tied up shirt, cowgirl hat. That's all I'm thinking of for some reason. Harley Davidsons and shit. And with the hell themes and the dream things, it really makes me think like she's dead. Like, I know he's saying like, nigga, don't put too much thought into it, but I feel like she's dead at this point. Obviously, it's always great to hear about Charlotte. Like, I mean, come on, she's a staple at this point. So it's always nice to hear about her journeys and her escapades. Another cool song, I like the first one more. I didn't enjoy Bruce's vocal performance as much as the first track, but again, it's nothing like No Prayer for the Dying Lows. It's just cool. The solo was fucking great. The solos are good, probably gonna be the standout part. The instrumental was cool. Again, like the about says, it's more like even Bruce himself says, it's just a song, just here it is. So it was good. I'm gonna see with subsequent listens how I feel about it. I will tell y'all now, I'm like 1,000% sure it's not gonna change in the future, but this is definitely better than Hooks in You. I will say that. I don't think there's much that's gonna make me, a song has to be pretty fucking terrible to make like a Charlotte the Harlot song has to be pretty fucking bad for me to say it's gonna be worse than Hooks in You. Cause of the 4 Charlotte the Harlot songs, that thing's the worst, man. I'm not saying it's bad, like, I mean, low key is, but like, it's definitely know fucking 22 Acacia Avenue, and this song is definitely not no Hook City. Like, it's cool. Let's keep going. In my cold cell and the bell begins. Alright, so we're headed to track 3, Afraid to Shoot Strangers. One of the 3 that I was excited for. As you guys know, I have a pretty shitty track record choosing the songs that I end up liking from the album compared to the ones that I'm excited for. But recently, I've been on a pretty good run. On the last like 2 albums, I've been choosing the songs that I've been liking. So let's see if I can continue this streak with track 3, Afraid to Shoot Strangers. Oh, and it's almost 7 minutes long, so y'all know I love that long Maiden, the epic Maiden sound. See, I like this more when they're not afraid to do longer, slower intros. It really builds up the song and makes it feel full and complete. The drums are really good in this one. Like, they're so crispy.
Trying to finish what's to be done. Thy kingdom come. Thy shall be done on earth. Trying to justify to ourselves.
It's so interesting that we get this Strange World sound with Bruce finally. Well, we had it in still life. It's so interesting though, because we don't get much of this with Bruce later.
We let them go on this way. The reign of terror, corruption must end. We know deep down there's no other way.
It reminds me of Still Life. Revelations in a way. No prayer for the guy. Strange world. Gorgeous. This sounds like Hallowed Be Thy Name when the like dun 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 dun. What? You guys know what I'm talking about. This is Yannick. You can tell this Yannick. Because Yannick does that. See what I'm talking about? Woohoo! This is gorgeous. This is cover instead of that's Claude.
Afraid to shoot strangers, afraid to shoot strangers, afraid to shoot strangers,
Afraid to shoot strangers.
afraid to shoot strangers,
Yeah, see, like Dave versus Yannick, Dave gives more breathing room for his notes. Like as opposed to just like afraid to shoot strangers. Afraid to shoot strangers. I love the
Afraid to shoot strangers.
Were those keyboards or Sims? Oh, I felt like it was a keyboard. It was interesting that Bruce decided to end it with a subdued "afraid to shoot strangers," as opposed to like I genuinely thought he was gonna go like "afraid to shoot strangers," you know, like because he fucking does that a lot. So it's interesting to hear him, you know, be like, you know what, I'm gonna take it more subdued. Oh my goodness, this is I'm very happy that I've been on a run choosing like the good songs, or at least the ones that I like. Yeah, this definitely lived up to the title's hype for me. Like, oh my god, this is my favorite one so far from the three. This might be my top 3 favorites by the end of the album. This shit was fucking fire. I'm telling y'all, man, for me anyways, Epic Maiden, and epic meaning like long drawn out songs, whatever, progressive or whatever word you want to use. Epic Maiden is just best Maiden for me. Like, oh, this song was just so gorgeous. Oh, and it had the like faster moment with the beautiful chorus. As someone did note though, you know, I will say, you know, seventh son of a seventh son, this isn't necessarily a complaint or a compliment. Like, it's very dependent on you yourself, but it's true that with seventh son of a seventh son, on these 3 albums, we've had the choruses be more simple. A lot of the choruses have boiled down to just the title of the song, "Afraid to Shoot Strangers," seventh son of a seventh son. You know, can I play with madness? At least that one had that, like, you're blind, too blind. But like the assassin, a lot of the songs just boil down to saying the title, which again, whether that be a complaint or a compliment, that's up to you. Personally, I'm fine with it. If it's a whole album of it, maybe we'll start running into like complaints, but that's more of a issue for an entire album, not for a single song. Because if I listen to this on its own, I mean, the repetition wouldn't bother me because it's just one song. But in a row, that's when you start running into issues, if that makes sense. Again, the sound was just fucking phenomenal. And just because I keep noting that Yannick to me feels like he's much quicker doesn't mean that it's a complaint. I'm just noting it. With that being said though, I will say Dave Murray remains my favorite player in the band. Like, Dave is just, again, after Transylvania, like, he could do no wrong to me. After that epic like 2-minute solo in Transylvania, like, this guy's a god to me. Like, this guy is different. I don't know, he's just, I don't know, man, I just like Dave. And I like how his end of his solo led into the beat switch for the outro, slash, you know, the sound that it was already doing. Afraid to Shoot Strangers. Oh, this one was just gorgeous, just beautiful, phenomenal. Let's read the about, because I mean, I'm already here. Let's read Bruce's quote. I don't want to read the other people. Let's just read the Bruce's quote. This song was written about people I fought in a Gulf War. It's a song about how shit it was, and how shit it was started by politicians and has to be finished by ordinary people. I don't really want to kill anybody. I know you guys are probably like, shut the fuck up with the accent, but it's funny to me. Okay, so it's about the Gulf War and how shitty war is, and how it started by politicians. Keyword: started by politicians, finished by ordinary people that don't want to kill. Again, 2 minutes to midnight. No prayer for the dying. The intro, the be quicker, be dead. We're getting a lot, you know, anti-war themes and stuff like that. Like the, you take my life and I'll take yours too. Don't. Nah, like that has nothing to do with what I'm saying, but it just went into my mind. But I didn't pay attention to the lyrics. I'm gonna be honest. Let me see what he's saying. Lying awake at night, wipe the sweat from my brow. It's not fear, because I'd rather go now, trying to visualize the honors that will lay ahead. The desert sound, mount, a burial ground, burial, whatever. So obviously, the sweat is more like stress, not fear, because there's a difference. Or it could quite literally be like, yo, this place is fucking hot. Desert mound, you know, desert. But if it's at night, then it's pretty fucking cold, I'm assuming. When it comes to time, are we partners in crime? When it comes to the time, we'll be ready to die. So saying like, yo, am I my brother's keeper type situation? Is we gonna ride, my nigga? God, let us go now and finish what has to be done. The kingdom come, thy shall be on earth. Trying to justify ourselves the reason to go. Shall we live and let live, forget or forgive? So again, more like, yo, we gotta do what we gotta do, and we gotta convince ourselves that it's the right thing. Same how like patriots will be like, oh, honestly, if you really want a breakdown of what this song is trying to say, then just listen to Uncommon Valor by Jedi Mind Tricks featuring R.A. the Rugged Man. Like just that whole song just embodies what Bruce was saying in that quote, that they say we're trying to stop Chinese expansion, but I ain't seen no Chinese since we landed. Trying to leave the footprints of America here. Like, you know, you gotta convince yourself of your patriotism and be like, oh, we're making the world safer, we're preventing terrorism, we're doing this, that, and the third. But that's more like, do you really believe that, or did you make yourself believe that? You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what verse 3 is kind of saying. You know what I mean? How can we let them go on this way? The reign of terror, corruption must end, and we know deep down there's no other way. No trust, no reasoning, no more to say. So, you know, I think verse 4 is continuing what I was saying. You know, like, what else can we do to prevent the stuff that we're being told? The terror, corruption, communism, all this bullshit you're fed, right? And whether it's bullshit or not, that's up for your interpretation. And deep down, they're like, shit, like, I mean, we don't know how to solve these issues, and the only way we could do it is by going to war. Like, there's no other way. So, fuck it. I ain't got nothing to say, because I'ma still go and do what I gotta do, but I don't want to do it. I'm afraid to shoot strangers. And it's true. Like, this is a very, honestly, now it's making me sad just thinking about like the chorus now. Like, I didn't really put too much thought into afraid to shoot strangers, and now that we got the like, now that I got the context that it's about like war and the Gulf War and all that, like, it is making me fucking sad, because it's like, you don't want to kill that man. You're afraid to shoot a stranger. And it's true. It's like, yeah, he's your enemy, right? But why is he your enemy? Because some politician said he was? You don't know him. He has a family. He has people he loves. He has his own life. Every individual is their own universe. You know, someone has an origin story. Someone had dreams. Someone had failure. Someone had successes. And you don't know anything about that person, but you're willing to kill them. And not willing because you want to, but willing because you convinced yourself that it's patriotic, or the politicians, you know, and everything, they're just sending you to do their dirty work. And it's like, it's just fucked up, because it reminds me of the end of The Trooper, where it's like, nobody's gonna remember him, right? Something like that, like his story, right? It's something like, I forgot the exact lyrics. Like, I know blasphemous because I love that song, but like, you know, where he's like dying and nobody's gonna remember his name and all that type of stuff. And it's like, you know, that's probably how all these troops feel, you know, like, they take a shot, they got shot by a stranger, and now it's over. Your dreams, your hopes, your family, your love, gone. Due to things that you didn't quite understand. You just know that you had to do your duty, and your duty wasn't a righteous duty, but you convince yourself it is. And so if we're connecting back to be quick or be dead, you know, it's like be quick or be dead, you know, it's kind of like be careful what you wish for. They convince you to vote and stuff. So like the people in that song, they inadvertently vote to go to war based on the politicians they choose, and these politicians are creating the situations described in Afraid to Shoot Strangers. You know what I mean? Just again, like Maiden is reaching a fucking phenomenal level of lyricism. Of course they've always had great lyricism, but this is just different than summarizing a movie, summarizing a play. This is fucking genius work, you know, and it's political without being fucking annoying. That's the best part. You know, like, I don't have a problem with Christian music, but I have a problem with heavy-handed Christian music. You know what I mean? Like, I like Kanye West, at least, like, Jesus Walks and all that, because, yeah, it's very, you know, Jesus-centered and all that, but it's not beating your head over it. He's still a real nigga. He still talks about for the hustlers, dealers, even the scribblers. Jesus walks for them. Like, you know, like, he's still him. And the same thing with Maiden. Like, yeah, here, let me give you my political feelings, but it's still Maiden. It's still sonically gorgeous. The lyrics are still up for interpretations. They're still poetic. They're still beautiful. And, you know, I haven't spoken too much about the connection to the title and the imagery, but Fear of the Dark, come on. Dark doesn't have to be a setting. Dark can be a feeling. And, you know, this person says that they're not sweating to fear, but they do fear. They fear shooting strangers. So whether that be because they don't want to admit that they're fearful, or that it really just comes down to stress about shooting strangers, they have a fear of the dark. And what is the dark? The dark situation they're put in, having to kill another human for things you might not know. You know, like the old situation where it's like, we probably could have been friends in another life. You know, oh, another time, another place, please forgive me. I don't know why that came into my mind, but I know Another Life is the fucking song. The other one, the as it life voices in my head, I wanna know it's get away. Anyway, you guys are probably like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, phenomenal song, just fucking gorgeous. Everything about it, the beat switch, the singing, the message, the lyrics, the length, just fucking phenomenal. Let's keep going. I'm so glad that was one of the ones I was hyped for. Alright, we're headed to track 4 out of 12. Fear is the key. Fear is the key. It's nice that we got this harder sound right after the previous song. I need to wake up. Almost reminds me of Today Milan in a way.
We live our lives in fever, in a choking sweat of fear.
That's a good lyric.
In the heat of the night, you can feel so much. In the heat of the night, I scream, don't touch.
I like his vocal performance here, man. See, like,
We used and abused. We fought all our battles in vain.
this song's dope.
I remember the time
See, this one's instrumentally, it's fine, but Bruce himself's making it 1,000 times better, because his singing is like what I like.
I hear your
but he still has like little hints of that rap.
Hear your silent cries. The kids have lost their memory time when we used and abused, and we fought all our battles in vain. I remember a time we thought that passion was free in the heat of the night, but in the
I love the instrumental chain.
you don't get to see. The majority gets its way. You're outnumbered by the bastards to the day you
God damn.
I hear your silent heartbeat, I hear your silent cries. Oh, it's just lies and lies, lies and 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 lies. I remember a time when we used and abused.
I love the constant switches. This shit sounds solid. I love that Dave Murray typically finishes the solo with a line. So they did do it on the follow song that I was talking about, the like drawn out vocal. The little one was a little funny though, I will say. Another phenomenal song, like, alright, just 4 songs in, I'm gonna just say it right now. This shit is way better than No Prayer for the Dying. This shit is fucking fire, man. Sonically, this song was just so fucking dark, just dun 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 dun, dun like and then I love the constant progression in the song with the beat switches, but they weren't obvious ones, right? Like the previous song was an obvious beat switch, whereas this was a build up, not a beat switch, if that makes sense. Sonically, this song was just so great, and everything just was perfect. The drums were smacking, the main melody / riffs were just going dun 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 dun. The solo, Bruce's vocal performance, everything came together to make a banger. Like, this song was fucking great. This song was good. Let's read the about. Bruce Dickinson. Fear is the key. It's about a song that exists nowadays in sexual relationship because of AIDS, of course. Sex has become a synonym for fear. When we were writing a song, we heard about Freddie Mercury's death. There's a line fit in here goes, nobody killed till somebody famous dies. And that's sadly true. In the States, mostly nobody really cared about AIDS until Magic Johnson, the basketball player, announced publicly that he was HIV positive. As long as the virus was confined to homosexuals or drug addicts, nobody gave a shit. It's only when celebrities started dying when the masses began to feel concerned. Now that Bruce explained it, it makes sense. The title of the song, "Fear is the Key." Fear is the key to cause change slash concern, like to what's that word called? Fear is the key for exposure. I'm the word is in my mind, but I'm forgetting what it is. But you know, it's basically saying like, look, almost like a situation where he basically said it line for line. The "nobody cares till somebody famous dies" is almost bar for bar the same as Biggie's Notorious B.I.G.'s line in "You're nobody till somebody kills you." You're nobody till somebody kills you. I don't wanna die. Lord, tell me why. Like, ooh. So now I'm understanding the lyrics a lot more, which is that's why you get stuff like I hear your secret heartbeat, I can hear your silent cries, the kids lost their freedom, nobody cares till somebody famous dies. That exists nowadays in sexual relationships. So Bruce himself said it's about like the fear in sexual relations. Oh, that's why the heat of the night you could feel so much. So when you're fucking, someone screams, "Don't touch," because you're scared of AIDS. Oh, I get it. Oh, and that's why I remember a time when we used and abused. So when niggas was fucking, right? We fought our battles in vain. I remember the passion was free. So yeah, like we used to be passionate in the heat of the night, but now we live in a fever and a, oh shit, like I might catch AIDS. I can't be too passionate. I gotta use jimmies. You know what I mean? Like, gay, these bitches best be wearing jimmies. Nah, you guys gotta watch that movie. I think it's called The Other Guys. We live in a world of uncertainty. Obviously, like you're scared, but fear is the key to what you want it to be. You don't gotta say the majority gets its way. You're outnumbered by the bastards to the day you die. See, if I hadn't read Bruce's explanation, I would have thought that this would have continued the symbolism brought to us by "afraid to shoot strangers" and "be quick or be dead." From here to eternity, kind of like what they said, is just like a joke. It really doesn't connect to the other tracks, but the other ones, they there's a through line because fought our battles in vain. I remember a time we thought passion was free. This is basically 1-to-1 with "be quick or be dead" or "afraid to shoot strangers" ideas of like voted for this and then now I gotta like do things that I quite don't want to do, so now I'm fighting a battle in vain. And I thought the passion was free. I thought I was a patriot, but in the heat of the night, body's aflame, I'm in a fever. And again, as Bruce said, I'm overthinking it, but at the same time, again, more cohesiveness with previous works, because when he said "in the heat of the night," I swear to God, before the chorus in the first verse, when he said "heat of the night," I wanted to pause it and say "Sea of Madness." And he basically confirmed it for me that whether it was intentional or subconscious, we have more connections to the idea of "Sea of Madness," where we thought the passion was free. In the heat of the night, bodies aflame, we live in fever. It reminds me of "Sea of Madness," where a flame is calling out or something like that. You guys know the lyrics. I'm not as adept as y'all. And like I said for that song, you know, the burning thing in that song could be like someone's determination, or it could be a literal body. Same thing with this, like, when your body's aflame, what is it doing? It's burning. What is burning in slang? I got burned, meaning I caught a STD/HIV from having sex. I was burned. This bitch burned me. So in the heat of the night, while we're doing our D, while we're fucking, the bodies are aflame, meaning someone's burning, meaning, yo, you just transmitted your sexual disease to me. Like, this is fucking genius, dog. Like, this is fucking insane. But at the same time, again, passion, heat of the night, bodies aflame, living in a fever. It makes me think of "Sea of Madness." This is a sea of madness. We're living in so much fear. It's a sea of madness. Like, I don't want to be here no more. You know what I mean? I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Another fucking phenomenal lyrical exhibition. Just fucking genius. I'm telling y'all, No Prayer for the Dying, Fear of the Dark Maiden, they're just different lyrically. This is honestly, and same thing, like if we're talking about they're going back to their roots, this is very much the Maiden I thought we would get. Remember how I said in the first two album reactions that a lot of the lyrics are more ethereal, harder to interpret, they have different meanings, and then starting from Number of the Beast and then on, we get a lot of historical summarizations, a lot of movies, a lot of plays. Well, we're back to that. We're back to a lot of ethereal stuff, a lot of talk about death, a lot of things that you gotta interpret, a lot of, so far there's no summarizations, there's no, stories being told. Like, this is very much, we're going back to the first two albums, and quite frankly, I fucking love it lyrically, like, and sound wise too. This album sounds like No Prayer for the Dying done right. Honestly, I'm gonna just say that. Like, this is great. Let's keep going. This is fucking great. It's a track 5, Childhoods, and this was one of the ones I wanted to choose for the ones I'm hyped for, but I ended up not choosing. Oh yeah, and in the previous song they mentioned children and all that. I thought about children of the damned, stuff like that. Just a whole bunch of cohesiveness. Another beautiful intro. Beautiful.
I'd sail across the ocean, I'd walk 100 miles, if I could make it to the end, oh, just to see a smile. You'll see it in their faces, the sadness in their tears, the desperation and the anger, madness and the fear. No hope, no life.
This reminds me of Children of the Damned lyrics.
Just pain and fear. No food,
The
no
drums
love.
and the melodies
Just greed
just
is here. Starvation and the hunger, the suffering and the pain, the agonies of all our war. When will it come again? The struggle for the power, and tyrant tries again. Just what the hell is going on? When will it ever end? No hope, no life, just pain destruction and decay, just waiting for disease to strike. Oh, will we learn someday? No hope, no life,
This song is fucking
just
great.
pain and fear. No food, no love, no seed. Childhood's end.
Another fucking amazing song. Amazing. Just it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I love the instrumental, the drums and the main melody, the dun 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 bum 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 dun dun. The instrumental break was fucking gorgeous. Oh my god. Ah, the solos are fantastic. Oh my goodness. Bruce's vocal performance, just another fucking banger. Like, I'm honestly surprised how I don't know if this is the correct way to say it, but like how subdued and beautiful and slow this album is. Based on No Prayer for the Dying and the title of this song, of this album, Fear of the Dark, I was thinking we were probably gonna get like 3 to 4 minute songs that were like, you know, like No Prayer for the Dying, like shoot him ding, you know, like that type of shit. But no, we got nice intros, beautiful beat switches, a fantastic lyricism, amazing messages, and just honestly, this is cut from Peace of Mind's cloth. Honestly, like Fear of the Dark sounds like a sequel to Peace of Mind, in my opinion. In a different way, because like I said, Somewhere in Time to me feels like a synthy sequel sort of to Peace of Mind, and then this also does as well, but in a different way. And like, if you combine Peace of Mind and No Prayer for the Dying, you get Fear of the Dark, if that makes any sense. Another fantastic song. Like, lyrically, there's not much for me to break down, bro. Like, this one's the most obvious from all the songs. This one and Charlotte the Heart are the most obvious. Like, there's no need for me to break down every single lyric. Like, come on, you guys know. The title says it all. Childhood's End. Childhood meaning, honestly, you could see this as a pseudo sequel to Children of the Damned. Think about it. Children, whether it could be metaphorical or literal, these children are damned, leading to their childhood's ending, because they're damned because they're being born into a world that, you know, that there's no hope, no life, pain and fear, just greed. And that greed is described, all that pain and fear is described in Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Be Quick or Be Dead. Fear is the key, you know. Like, there's so much going on in this sea of madness where it's like, I can't even be a child. My childhood has ended. My innocence has died because of the contaminated waters, pollution and decay, the disease. You know, just this one's obvious, you know. And again, it's connecting back to previous songs where struggle for power, a tyrant tries again, what the hell's going on? That's Be Quick or Be Dead. Then, you know, pollution, contamination, waiting for disease to strike, that's Fear is the key. Afraid to Shoot Strangers, you know, the agonies of all our war, when will it come against starvation and hunger, you know. So this one, honestly, this Childhood's End, I have, you know, we're barely 5 songs in, but I wouldn't have been mad if this was the end of the album, because this sounds like a summarization of what we've been on so far. This was fucking just gorgeous, just beautiful. I can't wait to listen to this song on my own when I'm high. Like, this song is, it might make me shed a tear. This song is fucking gorgeous. Ah, man, this song is fucking beautiful. This whole album has been fucking beautiful. Let's keep going. Almost 6 minutes. Yeah, see, I like how this album is slow. drum work is fire throughout this whole album. They're crispy. This reminds me of The Prophecy.
Maybe one day I'll be an honest man. Up till now, I'm doing the best I can. Long road, dream on, brothers, while you can. Dream on, sister. I hope you find the one. All of our lives covered up quickly by the tides of time. Spend your days full of emptiness, rolling shadows of night. Dream on, brothers, while you can.
That lyric is that particular one.
Dream on, sisters, I hope you
yeah.
find the one. All of our lives covered up quickly by the tides of time. Sands are flowing and the lines are in your hand. In your eyes I see the hunger and the desperate cry, the tears, the night. Spend your days full of loneliness, wasting light.
I didn't expect the album to be so soft.
Spend your days full of emptiness. Spend hours of night. Spend your days full of emptiness.
I feel like it's trying to say that.
Spend your days full of loneliness. Wasting love in the daylight.
Alright, that was Wasting Love. Yo, these fools, what song is it? What track is it? 6 songs in, yo. This album has been fucking great so far. There's no way this is like considered the low run, because this is fucking great. This song is phenomenal. Let's read what Bruce himself. Bruce, did he like do a documentary about this shit or something? Cause like, why is he explaining every single song on this album in particular? Let's read what he said. Listen, look, it's about those who jump from one bed and no nut. Those who sleep with whatever comes their way, without getting overseeing whatever they're looking for. Because they are very lonely, and they are lonely with it themselves, but they're continuously in action, collecting short-term relationships and knowing to fill the void they feel. Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking as well, especially with the wasting love is a desperate caress. That basically says, look, you're wasting, you know, don't spend your time on those wasted years all the time. Kind of that type of message, you know, like I forgot what song it was, but like, oh yeah, Ocean Sounds. Look up Ocean Sounds by Larry June and Alchemist. It just dropped this year. It's one of my favorite songs of the year and in general, and it's basically like this type of song where it's like, I've been searching around but still ain't found real love. Make my way to the top but still ain't found real love. And then he's like something like, man, love is when you happy with yourself. Fuck with niggas talking. You know, I adjust it and work harder. Like, that's basically the message of this song. Like, just the lyric that it just dream on, brother, while you dream on, brothers, while you can. That single line just does a lot to my soul, cause like that's all I had, and that's all I have to this day. Like a dream. Like, what else did I have? I ain't have a father. I ain't had money. I ain't had nothing. I ain't had love. All I had was a dream. You know, like all I had was $1 and a dream. I ain't even had the dollar. That's all I have, a dream. And that's the only thing that motivates me. That's the only thing that continues to drive the dream, the goal. And so just that single line just speaks to me like on a different level. Just dream on, brother, while you can. Because one day you're going to lose your passion. One day the dreams are going to stop. One day, you know, just if you fail, which most people do in life, that's just a statistic fact, you'll reflect on the dream and just it just won't be the same. Let's just say that. So all I have is the dream. And so stuff like that, like dreams and goals, motivation, that type of lyricism speaks to my soul on a different level. And so what combined with the just gorgeous instrumentation, like it just took me to like cloud 9. Another fucking phenomenal song. Like, let's keep going. This song was beautiful. Let's see, 6 songs in, and I would say Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Wasting Love, and maybe Fear is the Key are my favorite ones so far. We'll see. Let's keep going. I wanted to choose. Wait, The Fugitive, is that the one, The Prisoner? No. Is it? Maybe. I like how, you know, you get slow song, then a fast song, and a slow song. I like the switch up. This is cool. That's cool.
On a cold October morning, as frost lay on the ground, waiting to make my move, I made no sound. Waiting for the mist.
I love the like melody thing that's
I kept taking my time. They took the wild.
I like how it picks up the chorus.
I'm sick and tired of running, the hunger and the pain. I stopped to look about, then I forget. Being at the wrong place and at the wrong time. Suspected of a hit, that was my crime. I am a fugitive, being hunted down again. I am a fugitive.
not gonna focus too much on the lyrics because I saw that it's about a previous show.
Being hunted down like game, I am a fugitive, but I've got to clear my name.
This is epic as well. It sounds so like gangster. That was Dave Murray. You can tell, huh? You guys let me know. That was Dave.
I know that things can never be the same, but if I ever prove my innocence someday, I've got to get them all to make them pay. I am a fugitive, being hunted down like game. I am a fugitive, but I've got to clear my name. I am a fugitive, being hunted down like game. I am a fugitive, but I've got to clear my name.
The constant back and forth is like, it's so cool, like it's thrilling. That's another great track. Lyrically, I'm not gonna speak on it like at all. It's about it's one of the summarization songs, but I can't tell you much about it because obviously fear of the dark, fear of being caught up and stuff like that, dark things that might happen when you're caught up. Obviously, you're being framed and all that. So that's all I'll say about the lyrics. Musically, this was a fucking phenomenal song. It was so thrilling. That was the word I was trying to use. Thrilling, like, yeah, just this was another great song, and great in a different way because it's so jarring from the previous, song, the Wasting Love, where that was so soft and subdued and just beautiful, and this is more like intense, thrilling, emotional, fast pace, constant switching, where it's this is a great. The solos were fucking phenomenal. Like, this album is fucking fire. I'm gonna keep it real. If it keeps going, if we finish it off strong with the second half, this might be one of my favorite Maiden albums. So let's keep going. This is fire. We're heading to track 8 out of 12, which is Chains of Misery. This is one of the ones I said I was excited for based off the title. This has almost like Where Eagles Dare rhythm. I don't know why.
There's a madman in the corner of your eye. He likes to pry into your sunlight. He wants to burst into the street with you and I. A world of shadows and of rain. He's seen what love is. He wants to pay you back with guilt. He lies to you. He won't let you be. He's got your chains of misery.
Oh, that's cool.
Time. He holds your chains of misery. Yeah. He's got your chains of misery. There's a prophet in the gutter in the street. He says you're damned, and you believe him. He's got a vision, but it shines out from your eyes. A world of hatred and fear. He spelled what love means.
Alright, I got some terrible, terrible news. Everybody in the house is here. So if the reaction's loud in the background, it's because of everybody in the house. But they ruined the mood. They ruined the mood because this song was fucking great. Oh man, I'm happy. I'm finally choosing the ones that I'm saying I'm hyped for. Deservedly so. This again. Where are these quotes coming from? Because Bruce seems to like summarize or at least explain every single song. What interview was this? Can someone let me know? By Bruce. Chains of Misery is about a little devil that sits permanently on your shoulder. It's a little devil who can ruin your life. For instance, you meet a girl, you have a great relationship, and all of a sudden you do something stupid with no apparent reason, and you wonder, why am I doing this? You really don't know why you act the way you do, but you feel like you have to do it. Maybe it's a feeling of guilt that drives you. Maybe you feel that you're not good enough to deserve all this. In any case, you act against your own interests without really knowing why. Again, succinctly put by the man who made the song himself. I mean, he wasn't the driving factor. He wasn't the only person, but that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, you know, madman in the corner of your eye, pry into your sunlight, burst the street with you and I, a world of shadow and rain. That's obviously you're raining on your own parade, right? The madman is that little devil that sits on your shoulder. He's seen what love is and he wants you to pay back with guilt. You know, that voice in your head doesn't want you to be happy, whether that be depression, stress, anxiety. Those are the chains of misery, you know. This reminded me of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. There's a prophet in the gutter in the street. He says you're damned. You believe him. He's got a vision, but it shines through your eyes, a world of hatred and fear. I know it's about, you know, like you're believing. You're almost, what's it called? Looking for confirmation bias. The madman in the corner of your eye in your head, the little devil, he's being confirmed through the prophets and these bad priests described on No Prayer for the Dying and stuff like that. So again, just lyrically, cohesiveness. This is sound wise, this is phenomenal. I love the chains of misery. Oh my, it's definitely good. Afraid to Shoot Strangers and Chains of Misery, they're in the top 3 right now. This shit is crazy. Let's keep going. This is fucking fire. We're headed into the last run of the songs 9, 10, 11, 12. This is phenomenal. Let's keep going. What was it? The Apparition. Hey, what did I do?
Now I'm here, can you see me? Kids about me, 'cause I'm here.
The Apparition, that sounds like the first already.
Passing through on my way to a place I've been to only in my dreams before. In a world of
See, he's doing that more raspy voice on No Prayer for the Dying. This is better.
You can get your real true friends on one. Do you stand with your back to the
This
wall?
song's okay.
Do you sometimes feel like you're on the outside looking in? You can make your own.
That has to be Yannick, right? That's Yannick Cruz. Steve Harris is going in. That has to be Dave. Almost reminds me of Rap Child.
You can do what you want to if you try a little bit harder.
I don't like the verse section.
Goes a long way. It does. Oh, we'll meet up again someplace, some way one day.
I like the last lyric, but for the most part, I'm not gonna say much about this song because honestly, I'm a little indifferent on it. I don't really care for it. I don't think it's bad, but I'm not feeling it. I don't like the main melody riff thingy, the verse and the it was too samey. It needed more of the solo sections. It needed more breakups. It needed more variation. This was too It was too standard. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. But I loved the solos. The instrumental break was fucking fire. Everything else, it was fine. It wasn't, honestly, the worst song on the album. Worst meaning like my least favorite, but that doesn't mean it sucks. This is still, I would still put this up there with some of the best tracks on No Prayer for the Dying. No, I wouldn't. Or maybe, I don't know. But I will say that this is definitely my least favorite, for sure. But the solos, the solos make up. The solos were fucking great, but I don't know, man. Like, I just wasn't feeling this song, and I feel like it was a little too on the nose. You know, like, it was a little too explicit, like, given the title and then the lyrics. It was just so many lyrics with the same delivery and the same instrumental backing. It was cool, I don't think I'll be listening to this one a lot. Or maybe just to hear those sick ass solos, and maybe then, like, through the exposure effect, I'll end up liking the rest of the song. But for now, it's my least favorite. Let's see what Bruce said himself about this song. Roughly, these are Steve Harris' views on the world. He exposed all his feelings, his anguish, his fears, and his preoccupations. So Steve believes in ghosts and all that shit. And then obviously there's more than just ghost talk, obviously. Like, you know, it's about don't turn your back on your friend. You could count true friends on one hand. Which is, I would agree with that lyric, this one. Because I only have about, well, if I'm counting my new old friend, if that makes any sense. Like, you guys probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? I would say I probably only have, on a good day, 2 to 4 friends. That's all I need. I don't see myself needing a big circle of friends. So I get what Steve Harris is saying. You know, obviously live your life with passion. We've gotten this message of verse 3. We've gotten this in so many songs. We've got it in this album, the live your life with passion. That's the same thing as, like, the ideas of wasting love. Same thing on wasted years, don't waste your years, and all that type of stuff. In a room full of strangers, do you stand with your back to the wall? Do you sometimes feel like the outside looking in? You create your own destiny. I believe you have the power if you want to, which is true. I do believe that as well. Like, I don't believe in destiny. I believe that, you know, you created everything. I don't believe in a higher power, superstition, destiny, fate. I don't luck, none of that. I don't believe in none of that. It just is. That's my view on the world. It just is. And so I fuck with the vision. I fuck with the message. I just don't like the delivery and the instrumental, if that makes sense. Not like it, but it's not my favorite. With that being said, we're heading to the last track that I was excited for. Well, I mean, I'm excited for every track because he made it, but still, like, of the 3 that I said, the last one is Judas Be My Guide. Let's go into it. Alright, we're headed to track 10 out of 12. These are the last 3 songs. Judas Be My Guide. The way it cracks up. I'm already messing with it. I'm already fucking with it. This is fire.
Lights out, we live in a world of darkness, no doubt. Everything's up for sale, we sleep. All of the world is burning, we pray to God for a better deal. Now, Judas, my guide, whispers in the night. Judas, my guide, my way cut clean, nothing is sacred. Back then I knew everyone died.
The chorus is fire.
Judas, my guide, whispers in the night. Judas, my guide. I live in the black of my dreams.
This song was fire. I had to look at the credits to see it. I felt like it was written by Dave Murray. Because he was all over this song. No wonder I like this so much. This Dave song. This shit was fire. I'm genuinely happy that the 3 songs that I said I was hyped for happen to be my 3 favorite songs so far. Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Chains of Misery, and Judas Be My Guide. Just 3 bangers, and in different ways. Well, Chains of Misery and Judas Be My Guide are more upbeat, but woo, this song's fucking fire. The way it cracks off with Dave too. See, I'm telling y'all, Dave's the best one in the band, bro. Well, if you don't count Bruce, but Bruce is different because he's vocals. In a world of darkness, no doubt everything's for sale. We sleep, all the world is burning. But why is Judas the guide? Because Judas sold out. Because Whispers in the Night, obviously Judas was whispering in the night. Then it sold out Jesus Christ. So why is he the guide? Let's click.
You were with soldiers in the bathroom. What time you read? You were with soldiers in the bathroom you read.
No. Well, yeah, I leave mine.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
This is a phenomenal explanation for the chorus. I didn't even think this. I would have never even thought this, that the reason Judas is the guide is because Judas is well acquainted with subterfuge and deceit, being the quintessential traitor in Western culture. Meaning, you would want the greatest liar and the greatest sellout to help you in a world of sellouts. It's genius. This reminds me of and the jelly brains of those remain, but right. This reminds me of that verse. Almost fight wars, die in a blaze of glory. Come home, meat in a plastic sack. This is Duggan. Fall down, pray to your God for mercy. So Neo helped the blade cut clean. Reminds me of Seppuku. In a way, obviously, we talk about blades a lot because Bruce likes swords and all that type of situation. Judas, my God. Yo, this album. Yo, this might be in like top 5 Maiden albums. I'm gonna keep it real. This thing's fire. Nah, I'm gonna keep it real though. The next track scares me. Weekend Warrior. That sounds whack. I'm gonna just say it straight up. Like, Maiden's never made a title sound that trash. Weekend Warrior. That just sounds trash. Let's get into it. But this song is great. Look at that. Let's keep going. All right, we're heading to track 11, Weekend Warrior. Let's see what it's about. Sounds relaxing. Not this
Just look at you now.
I'm not messing with this one, yo. This ain't the one.
Just look at you now.
Okay, but that was tight the way he said it. Just look at you now. That's pretty good. You mean watching UFC?
Someone will die.
This quiet part, the way he keeps repeating the lines is actually
Maybe
tight.
someone will die.
This ain't it. This sounds like old man music. I'm gonna keep it real. I can't do this.
Just wanting to belong.
Like, this whole type of melody's tight.
To belong.
But they don't make up for the rest, dog. This is
To belong.
how we go from one of the best songs on the album to the worst. Yeah, see this, you can tell this is Dave. rather just hear the guitars by themselves. This is like the first time I genuinely want to skip the song. It just sounds cringy. I don't know. I'm not messing with this one.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
This is a miss.
Are you way that way anymore?
Let's stop it right there. I don't want to finish it. I'm gonna keep it real. I wanted to skip it, dog. Like, watch this end up being the most fucking famous song on the album and the one that everybody loves. Y'all niggas gonna talk shit if it is. Y'all gonna be like, you don't appreciate good music. Da, da, da. Like, I don't know, man. This one's this shit sucks. I'm gonna keep it real. This song's kind of booty. Oh, how did we, man, I'm pissed because we just went from really basically a whole album of bangers to this, and this is the penultimate song. Oh my goodness, this is definitely no Power Slave, no Charlotte the Harlot. What's the other penultimate songs? Deja Vu. Like, oh, this definitely ain't one of them. Oh hell no. Man, this song sucks, man. I don't know, man. Damn, this is the first genuine Iron Maiden song. No, this is the first Iron Maiden song where I'm like, this is genuinely like, I don't want to listen to this shit, dog. This shit sucks. Yo, let's read Bruce's quote. It's about a football and all the violence that surrounds sport. Hooliganism is a terrible thing. You have those people who don't have any other interest in life but the football game on the weekend. Those people indulge in whatever violence they're capable of during the game. Having fights with supporters that attain screaming insults, they have to go back to little jobs on Monday morning. And that's when you realize they're nothing. I get the message. I get what he's saying, but nah, man. It was just, I don't know, man. I'm gonna listen to it more just so I can see if, like, maybe I'm just in my mood or whatever, but this ain't it, man. Like, I'm pissed, man. I'm genuinely pissed. How we go from Judas Be My Guy to this? What went wrong? What did we do? This don't even sound like the album. Everything else sounds like Fear of the Dark. This shit doesn't belong in this album. Put this back on No Prayer for the Dying. What the hell, man? Nah, man. This ain't it. Fuck. I'm a little pissed that they didn't stick the landing on the last run of the album, cause the Apparition was the worst song on the album before Weekend Warrior. Then we pick it up with Judas, and then we go back into the Apparition type levels. This is different. Apparition, it had the solo. This was just, this is whack, man. I'm just like a little nervous because I feel like if this is like the best song on the album to most people, I know y'all niggas gonna talk shit, but this ain't the one. This ain't it. Let's head it to what I'm pretty excited about, the title track. Anytime you got the title track, you know I'm gonna be hyped for it, because, like, why did you name it the title track? Does it summarize the album? Does it... I'm leaning towards, I feel like Fear of the Dark is gonna summarize the album, or at least teach us what is Fear of the Dark, or at least give us the meaning, right? You get what I'm saying? Kind of like how Power Slave did that for that album and stuff like that. Iron Maiden did that as well. Iron Maiden was a culmination of the shit they were like on and the shit that they'll go eventually show us what they're about. But this Weekend Warrior song, this ain't it, at all. Let's finish the album. That shit took me out of my element. Like, now I'm not even excited for this last song, and normally I am, man. Let's go to the next song, title track, Fear of the Dark. So this is the final Bruce song, and it's 7 minutes long. Alright. All you gotta do is nail the landing. You see. It's the title track, it's the final track, and it's 7 minutes long. What could go wrong? This is gorgeous.
I am a man who walks alone, and when I'm walking a dark road, I'm still a little strange, a little anxious when it's dark. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a phobia that someone's always there. Have you run your fingers down the wall and have you felt the room? You've sensed that something's watching you. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. Have a phobia that someone's always there. Have you ever been alone at night? Thought you heard footsteps behind and turned around and no one's there. And as you quicken up your pace, you'll find it hard to look again because you're sure there's someone there. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. Have a phobia that someone's always there.
The drums are going in. Speed. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. Fear of the dark. I'm dancing shadows from behind. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. The dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. Have a phobia that someone's always there. When I'm walking a dark road, I because it's on the tip of my mind before I say anything else. The outro is so fitting because it's the last lyric we're gonna hear of Bruce for 7 years, right? And he's saying, when I'm walking a dark road, I'm a man who walks alone. That's what he's about to do. Well, obviously, I think he gets Adrian Smith for his solo work, right? But it's so fitting in like a meta way. It's like he's letting y'all know, like, I'm about to go on this journey of by myself. Oh man, I'm telling y'all, Epic Maiden is best Maiden. I'm telling y'all, man. Yo, this song was a banger. No, I'm leaving right now. Let's read the about.
No, I'm leaving already. I'm not joking this time.
Let's read Bruce's quote. Steve, who wrote it, is really afraid of the dark. It's a story of a man who walks in a park at night, and as it's getting darker, he sees all sorts of worrying things. He becomes totally paranoid because his imagination is working overtime. It's a great track. Yeah, I mean, as he says, you could take it as fear of the dark, as in quite literally, like he said, Steve's a little pussy, right? you start to worry about things, right? But at the same time, well, I guess he says it too, like your imagination is working overtime, you know, like fear of the unknown, fear of things you can't see, anxiety, fear, you know. Reminds me honestly of Batman Begins type situation. Let's see, this is what Steve Harris said. It's about being scared but not really knowing what of. They say that everybody has a secret fear or something. They just don't know. They just don't always know what it is until it's too late. I mean, succinctly put by the guys who fucking made the song, right? Like, fear of the unknown. That's really what it is. Fear of the unknown. We fear what we don't know. Batman Begins, I believe that's what they say. Phenomenal song, dark, gorgeous. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. Oh, the solos, the moodiness. This was perfect outro, perfect. Just gorgeous. And then if we think, okay, so we know what fear of the dark is. It's fear of the unknown. Now, on subsequent listens, I'm going to be able to apply that knowledge. And I know I could have probably guessed it, like I know, but it's good to know it for sure, for it to be confirmed. But now that we know fear of the dark, dark meaning unknown, strange, thing, you know, foreign, you know, be quick or be dead. You're voting for things that you don't quite know. Fear of the dark, right? From here to eternity, Charlotte is hopping on a motorcycle from hell to eternity. Fear of the dark. It's unknown where she's at. She doesn't even know if it's a dream or not. And she's headed to a place she doesn't know. Afraid to shoot strangers. Strangers, fear of the dark. Dark being a synonym for strange, for, you know, hey, that's basically like, as I said, it could have been one of the title. It could have been like interchanged with the title track. Afraid to shoot strangers, fear of the dark is basically the same thing, right? Fear is the key, obviously. Fear of the unknown diseases and things that, and fear creates, like, is the key to put emphasis and shine a light on things that you otherwise wouldn't care about. Childhood ends, you know, like the fear of the dark of hey, I'm being born into a world where my innocence is lost due to all the stuff stated in the song. Wasting love, you have a fear of not being loved, so you constantly in bed with someone else and stuff like that, and you're lonely and things like that. The fugitive, the fear of being caught up and all that type of stuff. Chains of misery, the fear of the what if I'm not good enough, the anxiety, the depression. The apparition, it quite literally, a ghost is unknown, and wherever the ghost is headed, like, oh, I'm gonna meet you later on. Hey, that's fear of the unknown. Judas, be my guide. Guide me in this unknown world, in this sea of madness. Weekend warrior, suck a dick. Fear of the dark. Come on, this is really. We could have just made this a 10-track album and cut off Apparition and Weekend Warrior, and I would argue that this would have been a classic album. with the worst one, if it would have just been 10 tracks cutting out the 2 songs I said, the worst song would have been From Here to Eternity. Everything else is fucking classic material. Like, this is, if it wasn't for those two to 3 songs, I would put this on the level of any of the first 7 albums, like, and it would be high. It would be very high, actually. This was a phenomenal album. Let's just head into the outro. But let me just say, Fear of the Dark was a great song. Let's just head into the outro. Alright, the outro should be fairly quick because I kind of said already the whole thesis of this video, but honestly, this album had massive classic potential. And honestly, I would probably still call it a classic. Like, this album was fucking great. I thoroughly enjoyed everything about this album. The singing was better. The instrumentation was better. Yannick was used more sparingly in a better way. Dave was phenomenal throughout this whole album. The drumming was crisp. The mixing was good. The song lengths were just perfect. No song felt too short. No song felt too long. Minus Weekend Warrior. Weekend Warrior was 5 minutes too long. Or however long is Weekend Warrior, that's how long it was. That's how too long it was. Woo! I know y'all niggas are like, damn, this was an asshole. Anyway, this album was just great. Like, truly phenomenal. No Prayer for the Dying sonically was a misstep. This, we're back on the road, baby. This is fire. This is like some man. And No Prayer for the Dying isn't as bad as I make it sound. It's bad compared to what they've done, but solo it's serviceable. But this album, this is just as good as the first 7. It definitely was influenced by Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Like, a lot of these songs were 5-7 minutes long intros, beautiful outros, gorgeous solos, nice singing. Like, this is definitely cut from Peace of Mind mixed with No Prayer of the Dying mixed with Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. This album was fucking great, minus those 2 to 3 songs depending on how you view it. Consistency. Was this album consistent in its greatness? Consistent. I'm gonna have to give it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for consistency. I might lean for 6 because those 2 tracks, man. The Apparition isn't bad, but the Weekend Warrior is, man, and that's really dragging the consistency down for me. And even, the Charlotte the Harlot song wasn't as dope as the rest of the songs. But so with that being said, bro, that's like 3 out of 12. That's like a whole 1/4 or something like that. I mean, I don't know my math like that, but like, so I would say consistency wise, it's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Cohesiveness. Were the ideas cohesive? Did the lyrics, did it connect? The messages of the album art, the album title, the song titles, did it all connect in a cohesive manner? 10 out of 10. Like, same thing I said for No Prayer for the Dying. I might say there's a fucking 100 out of 10 because this was very cohesive in the best way possible. But then no, you can't, because how does Weekend Warrior fit into the rest? No, never mind. So Weekend Warrior kills it. So because of Weekend Warrior, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10 for cohesiveness. Conciseness. Here's what I was talking about that No Prayer for the Dying made me change my criteria for the 4 C's. Conciseness used to be, are you not too long? But now, upon further reflection, conciseness is my definition for conciseness. Did it feel like it needed more runtime? Or did it feel like it needed things cut off? When I'm talking about conciseness is a feeling. You could have a 1-hour album that feels concise as opposed to like a 40-minute album that feels like it needed more runtime. So like, in my definition, conciseness doesn't mean short. It means, do you have the perfect balance? Like, did every song feel like their runtime was justified? Like, let's say The Ides of March. The Ides of March is only like a 2-minute song, right? But it was perfect for what it was. Therefore, it got a 10 out of 10 for conciseness. Whereas Phantom of the Opera, it's a 7-minute song, which is way longer than 2 minutes, but it was also concise because no minute felt dragged on. It felt like every minute was justified. With that being said, this, I can't say that for this album. I can't say it was a 10 out of 10 for conciseness, because Weekend Warrior exists. The Apparition is way too long. Like, I'm telling y'all, the verses part of the Apparition is way too long. So with that being said, I'm gonna say 7 out of 10 for conciseness. Some songs dragged out too long and they felt really, really long. And then the album, but most other songs felt perfect. Fear of the Dark felt perfect. Everything else was just great. Creativity. Was this album creative? That means, were they outside the box? Were there cool ideas being presented, unique ideas? And you know, which is standard for Maiden. 10 out of 10, bro. This album was definitely creative. Like, as much as I don't like Weekend Warrior, it's pretty creative to make a song about those dudes, and not in a good way, you know, like kind of like talking about them and stuff like that. So I would say 10 out of 10, because Apparition, again, that one was a little too on the nose, but that's fine. That's whatever. But then stuff like Fear of the Dark, where, you know, and then creativity doesn't also have to be themes. Creativity is also your vocal choices, your harmony choices, right? Like, and, you know, the vocal performances, the solos were creative. They were unique. At least for me, I've never heard anything else. Obviously, all I know is Maiden, but still, it felt creative to me. It felt like they were doing new things, and they were doing it better than No Prayer for the Dying, because No Prayer for the Dying, yeah, his voice was creative, but it wasn't a good type of creative. But this was creative done right. So I would say 10 out of 10. On the whole, you guys could do the math on whatever number that is, but I'm gonna still go out and say it's better than No Prayer for the Dying. And if it wasn't for those 2 to 3 songs, the Charlotte the Harlot one, I think it's called Hell to Eternity, or whatever, something like that, Weekend Warrior and the Apparition, this would have been a straight classic. This would have been 9 or 10 out of 10. As it stands, because it's 3 songs, I said No Prayer for the Dying is a 5 out of 10, right? This album on the whole, I'm gonna say it just feels like a 7 or like an 8 out of 10, honestly. Weekend Warrior really killed it. Apparition was serviceable. So was the Charlotte the Harlot song. Those 2 songs weren't bad, but Weekend Warrior it really knocked it down a peg for me. And so, with that being said, if you're a little more strict with your rating, and you know there's other parts of, like, little parts of other songs that you felt were a little lacking, then I would say let's go with a 7 out of 10. But if you're more lenient and you really like Maiden, I could see this being an 8 out of 10. And if you're really strict, I could see this being a 6 out of 10 for you. But for me, I'm going to say it's like a 7.5, nearing on 8. Because the songs I really like. Fear of the Dark, the Judas song, Chains of Misery, the third song, I forget, let me look at the titles. Well, actually, now that I'm here, let me choose my 3 favorite songs. Let's see. Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Chains of Misery, Judas Be My Guide, and Fear of the Dark. So, okay, I guess this is going to be a little cheating, but, you know, things change. I mean, it's my channel. I can do what I want. Normally, I'd said top 3 songs off the albums. But that was because most of the albums didn't even go past 10 songs, right? This album is 12 tracks. I think choosing 4 to 5 out of 12 is fair. The other ones, we chose 3 out of like 8. So I feel like it's fair for me to say, for the first time, I'm going to choose my top 4 songs, not top 3. I hope you guys are okay with that. With that being said, it's the 4 songs I mentioned. Fear of the Dark, Chains of Misery, Judas Be My Guide, and Afraid to Shoot Strangers. Those are my 4 favorite songs on the album. They're phenomenal. Rating them, I would say number 1 is Judas Be My Guide. Number 2 is Afraid to Shoot Strangers. Number 3 is Number 3 is Chains of Misery, and number 4 would be Fear of the Dark. Those are my 4 favorite songs in that order, I would say. Guys, this album was fucking great. Wait, I had a way better time than I did with No Prayer for the Dying. Oh my god, defenders of that album are gonna be so pissed at this reaction. They're like, yo, this guy is just straight dogging on that album. What did it ever do to you? But it's still a good album. But yeah, this album, it gave me that vintage Maiden feeling. This is why I fell in love with them. Oh yeah, and for the people wondering why I didn't put Wasting Love on my top 4 songs, considering, you know, I cried to it. The rest of it just like kind of like a Heaven Can Wait situation. I love Heaven Can Wait's bridge, but the rest of the song is, you know, I don't like it as much as that single part. Whereas like Chains of Misery, I think everything's a 10 out of 10. And then for Wasting Love, I think that single line is like a 10 out of 10, and everything else is like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. You know what I mean? Whereas like something like Fear of the Dark, I think everything is a 10 out of 10, or I enjoy everything in the same level. So that's why I have to go with those 4 songs and not Wasting Love. If I were to rank them, I will say number 12, which means it's the worst song, would be Weekend of Warrior, followed by Apparition, and then the Charlotte the Harlot song. Yeah. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed this album. I know I was talking a lot about No Prayer for the Dying, but I did enjoy this album. This album was great. I know the next 2 albums were headed to the Blaze era. Blaze something. I didn't even see his name, but I know it's Blaze. So, which we're going to give him his flowers in the video as well, but because we're already here, goodbye, Bruce. Thank you for everything you've done. You gave us classic after classic after classic. Like, you are Maiden. Like, you know, as much as I love Paul, you've been with Maiden longer, and you're going to continue to be with them after your little 7-year departure, but you're going to come back because you were made for Maiden. Maiden was made for you. You guys go together like white on rice, you know what I mean? But thank you for everything you've done. Hallowed be thy name. Come on, the trooper. Oh, you are him. Bruce, you are him. But yeah, I'm actually excited to go into the Blaze albums, because I want to see what Blaze does, because I know Paul, I know Bruce, but I don't know Blaze. I've never heard Blaze. At least with Bruce, I heard the Trooper. I've never heard a Blaze song. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Huge thank you to you guys as always. Thank you for tuning in. Special shout out if you're actually watching this particular thing and you're actually hearing the thank you, because about only 20 to 30% of y'all actually stick around for the actual conversation. About 40 to 60% of y'all only tune in for the actual musical sections, which is a little weird. Like, why are you here in the first place? But that's fine. I mean, any support is great. But so if you're actually hearing all this, let me know if you're hearing it, because I'll know if you're a real one. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you for the endless support. The channel just keeps growing. You guys keep getting better. I mean, come on. You guys are the best subs in all of YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay safe and have a nice day.